I wrote this song for my dad for Father's Day a few years ago. And it was at a time when I was seeing my dad in me, my mannerisms, the way I would say things. You always want to think that you're your own person, but the older I get, the more I realize that I'm really powerfully influenced by who my parents are. And I've seen my dad's sins relived in my life, but he's also given me a lot of good things, and that's also part of what the song is about. Parents give us both good and bad, and no matter how bad things can get, and they were pretty terrible for part of my growing up years. My dad was in the throes of a really terrible drug addiction. But in spite of that, he gave me some good things as well. It was September 11, 2001. My dad was still in the midst of addiction, and I had started partying and experimenting with drugs and that kind of thing in high school. And I remember sitting on the couch and watching TV basically all day long, just watching the news of the attack on the World Trade Center. And all my dad could talk about was the end of the world. And the prophecies in the Bible are being fulfilled, and Jesus is going to come back soon. And here he is in the throes of drug addiction, and he's kind of, preaching and telling me about Jesus' return. Later that day, he gave me a copy of a book called The Great Controversy. And this book really changed my life. It's a book about the history of the Christian church, so it talks about the reformers and people who have really paid the ultimate price to be faithful to God. And it also talks about Bible prophecy and what the Bible says is going to happen in the end. And reading this book gave me a sense of purpose. I wanted to help people be ready for Jesus' return. And so my dad, even though he was living in the darkness, in self-destruction, was able to point me in the right direction. And thankfully, he found his own way back a few years after that. I also talk about in the song that my dad is a songwriter, and he actually wrote and recorded 8 or 9 albums while I was growing up. So I was around the whole songwriting and recording thing for a good part of my life, and I think obviously it made an impact on me. I would summarize the message of this song by saying that we get a lot of things from our parents, both good and bad, but it's up to us to decide who we're going to become. And I think we've got a couple of options. We can be grateful for the good and try to develop that, and we can take responsibility for our faults and try to do what we can to avoid making those same mistakes. Or I think we can be bitter and blame our parents for our failures in life and wallow in self-pity. And I think the choice is pretty simple for me. I have tried and am trying to take the better path. I am selfish and conceited. My ego weighs a ton. I am vain and overbearing. I am my father's son. I am my father's son. I'm impatient and impulsive. I can't control my tongue. I am often very thoughtless. I am my father's son. I am my father's son. am given to excesses. I do things overdone. I am easily addicted. I am my Father's son. I am my Father's son. But I don't blame him for what I am. I take responsibility, 'cause I'm a man. Just can't help but see it's true, how your father's sins are passed on down to you. He gave me a love for music. He wrote a song or two. He is a man of inspiration. Dad, I owe this song to you. I guess I owe this song to you. And in my darkest hour, though he was in the darkness too, he pointed me to Jesus. Dad, I owe my life to you. I owe my life to you. I am confident and loyal, and I don't turn and run. I am able to love deeply. I am my Father.